don't mind, please turn on your camera so that we know you're present today. Everyone, don't be shy. We are Toastmaster and we are not shy to share our presence. Thank you. Let's see how many Toastmasters from how many areas are here with us today, everyone. My name is Quay, and today I am very honored to be your Toastmaster of the day for this special training. And first of all, thank you very much for your time to be with us on a very beautiful Sunday morning. And I will not let you wait anymore because we are going to start the evaluation training right away. So before we officially start, I have a few basic ground rules for everyone. First of all, I would like once again invite all of you to turn on your camera. And the next step, please mute yourself unless you want to say something. And while our trainer is delivering the training, if you got any questions, so feel free to drop a message in the chat box. So I will deliver, or I will send the questions to the trainer right away. And now, everyone, I would like to invite our director from Division V to have the welcoming speech. Everyone, please help me to warmly welcome Division V Director, Ms. Dung Lê, for the welcome speech.
Good morning, good evening, good night to all of you, because for today's training, we have people from all over the world, not only in our Division V. We have the members of Toastmasters in Division V, but they are living outside Vietnam. So I would love to send my warm welcome for your presence for this in this training. Today is Sunday, and as you may do something else with your family or relaxing or do any kinds of other activities that you really want to do for this beautiful Sunday morning like in Hanoi right now. But instead of choosing other activities, you chose to be here present in this training because you really wish to improve yourself in the journey of become a better version of yourself. Toastmasters, where leaders are made, and being an evaluator is the next step after being a speaker. And this is a step for you to practice how great you are as a leader. When you are a speaker, you can do your best. Become a public speaker, you can apply all the techniques for yourself. But when you are the evaluator, you may apply all of the techniques that you have mastered and share for the other people and help them to become a better person as well. The journey of being an evaluator is a journey to help you to become a better leader. I would love to welcome again all the leaders of Toastmasters of Division V for this morning in this training. And from bottom of my heart, thank you very much. And I would love all of you to send a big thanks to our trainer for today, Toastmaster Fuzzy. Toastmaster Fuzzy. And I won't let you to wait for long. We are going to give a very big round of applause to our trainer for today. And please welcome him on stage.
Thank you, Dung Lê. I appreciate that great introduction, and thank you all for having me here with you today. You're right. After we finish speaking, the next step is, can we evaluate? But in some ways, those need to be side by side, don't they? We actually become a better speaker because we've become a better evaluator. When we're evaluating, We're listening, we're seeing, we're hearing, we're watching, and most of all, we're understanding our speakers. And that in turn makes us a better speaker. I've been a teacher and a principal at a school for over 30 years. I've been teaching theater arts, I've been teaching speech, and everybody always asks me, Fersy, how do we become good speakers? How do we get to be like you? And of course, I have to tell them, well, I've been speaking for over 30 years as a teacher. 8 hours a day, I'm talking to kids and I'm explaining things. So we get used to that. But there's a flip side to that. For over 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, for 30 years, I've been evaluating because I give kids feedback, right? Every single thing they do, I'm giving feedback. And I know what their journey is. So I give them feedback on that journey. So the more feedback we give, the better the journey for that speaker and the better the journey for ourselves. So I hope that everything we do here today is going to help you not only in Toastmasters, but also help you outside of Toastmasters, wherever that journey may take you. Let's talk about a couple of things here. This is going to be a very interactive workshop. Some parts of it, there's going to be a little bit more listening. Some parts of it, I'm going to be asking you to move and to speak. Other parts of it, I'm going to ask you to actually evaluate somebody. I'm going to bring my friend in here, Tom, and you're going to evaluate Tom. And I'm going to hear your evaluations of Tom and give you feedback on those evaluations. So thank you all for being here today. As the Toastmaster just said, any questions you have, go ahead and drop it into the chat. Because it's such a long workshop, there's no way we can keep the questions until the end. You'd be frustrated. So go ahead and ask the questions right away. I'm also going to reiterate, if you can turn on your camera, it would be great. It's so much better if we can be interactive. You'll see in just a moment that I won't call on you if your camera's not on, but the people who learn the most will be the people who have the interaction, right? So be aware of that. Here's the first thing I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to put some numbers up here. I'm going to put some numbers up on my screen, and I would like for you to unmute. I'm going to ask you to unmute and add up the numbers. So I'm going to put a number up here and you call it out. You call out the number, and then I'm going to put a second number up there, and I want you to add those two numbers together in your head and then give me the answer. Everybody ready? Okay, go ahead and unmute for a moment.
Okay, I have unmuted my
Yeah,
micro.
go ahead and unmute for a moment. Thank you, Koa. There we go. Here we go. Get ready. Is it Lu Ti Tai? Am I saying your name correctly? Thank you for unmuting. Here we go. Minky, thank you very much. Cool. Thank you. Here we go. Ready? All right. Get ready, because I want you to add these numbers up. All right. Hang on. Wait a minute. And the first number is? Say that number.
0.
Evaluations add up 0.
Good. Now add this number.
1,000.
1,000. 40.
40.
1,040.
1,040. 2,040.
2,040. Okay, that's interesting.
2,070.
2,070.
30 thì chẳng hạn
3,070.
3,070. Đúng rồi.
2,090.
90.
3,090.
3,090.
4,090.
90.
10.
5,000.
4,100.
5,000.
Are we sure it's 5,000? It's not,
Oh,
is
no.
it?
4,100.
Yeah, 4,100.
Yes, exactly. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think your math is going to be just fine. I have no doubt about your math because it's not hard math, right? It's not hard math. But if it's not hard math, then how did we get to such a weird answer of 5,000? How did we get to 5,000 instead of 4,100? How'd we do that? Anyone want to try and answer? Why did we go to why did we go to 5,000 instead of 4,100? Right? I mean, here's what we did. I'm going to show you the numbers again. We went 0, right? I made sure everybody understood it's 0, and then 1,000, and then, right? And then, and then, and then, and then, and then, and then, why didn't we get to the right answer? Kim, what happened there? How did we get to such a wrong answer, Kim?
That's a good question, buddy. But I leave that to others to decide. Have a good time here.
Okay. Bin, Ms. Bin, how did we get to such a wrong answer?
Me? Sorry.
Oh, I don't know, but since you're on now, go ahead. Somebody in the chat put carelessness.
Maybe
Okay.
because I lose the concentration.
Lose concentration. Okay. Irene, you have your hand up. I presume you have a thought.
Thank you. For me, I was making an assumption that the last one needs to be a round number, like a beautiful number, like 5,000. So I just added up to be a beautiful number without thinking too much.
Good, 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 good. You know, you're all somewhat correct, right? We lose a little bit of concentration. We think the next number is going to be the beautiful number. We fall into a sequence, don't we? The thousands, somebody mentioned the thousands, definitely. The thousands are repeated, so we fall into a rhythm. The thousands are in a rhythm, and then the 70, the 30, the 10 also puts us in a rhythm, and we're like, we're going to get there, we're going to get there, boom, and here it is. And all it really goes to show us is that we get caught in patterns and we don't stop to really look at the details. And one of the things that we have to do as evaluators is to be very critical. Critical not necessarily as a negative, but critical as in I'm really watching. I'm really listening. I'm not just saying, oh, you have good volume or you don't have good volume. Oh, it's a good speech. Oh, it's a bad speech. That's called binary. When we just simply go, oh, it's good. Oh, it's bad. Binary. And for some things are binary. Yes, no. Do you want to eat? Yes. Do you want to eat? No. But oftentimes in speeches, if we really want to help someone, then we have to not think in a binary way. We have to not think in a reflexive way. We have to think, here's where they started, here's where they want to go, and maybe they're somewhere in the middle. And you don't have to move them from here to here in one speech. You can simply move them just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And maybe one part of their speech is this close and the other part of their speech is right here. And so we can help them do this part. we can identify, we can be very surgical, we can be very precise, we can be very critical about how to help people move forward. And most importantly, how to help people learn from anything that's going on here in Toastmasters and apply it outside of Toastmasters. That's what we're doing today. And it's important that we apply it to outside Toastmasters, don't we? Because there's not a single one of you, not a single one of you that joined Toastmasters just to increase DCP points. Right? Sorry, division director, but that's not why we came into Toastmasters. Not a single one of us came here just to increase DCP points. We said, there's something I want. There's something I want from Toastmasters, and I want to apply it outside in my real life, in my job, in my family, in my personal well-being, whatever it is that I've got going on outside. I want to get everything I can from Toastmasters. And part of our job as evaluators, part of our job as coaches, because that's what we really are. If we think about it, we're going to be coaches. For those few short minutes, that target speaker is going to ask us to be a coach. So that we coach them to the next level. And then we apply it. We find out everything we can about that target speaker, and we apply it. I know we have to do levels and pathways and project goals. But don't we have personal goals too? If we can't apply those principles that we're learning in the speech to what's going on outside, we have not done our speakers and our members a good service. If we really want to keep people in Toastmasters so that they can keep getting things out of Toastmasters, we have to make everything applicable. I know many of you are thinking, well, really, Furzy, we're just preparing for our contest. I'm going to go into the evaluation contest and I want to win. Oh, we can do that too. We can do that too. Don't worry. I've done that. We're going to do that. But ultimately, after the contest is over, and remember, the purpose of the contest is for us to get better at it, right? The purpose of the contest is to get better at evaluations or table topics or humors. The purpose of the contest is to help us get better at evaluations so that we can apply it to our members in our clubs, so that we can help them get better in their lives. That's the logical point. So let's get going on that. Tell me about this. I'm going to show you a picture. Now, I want you to tell me what you see, not what you think is going on, but I want you to tell me what you see. I just spent a couple minutes talking about being critical. Yes, being critical and seeing what we really see. So in the picture, what do you really see? Not what you assume, but what is fact? What is fact? All right. What do you see? What do you see? Antoine Tran?
Thank you very much. I cannot open my camera, so please excuse me for that. I see 5 people. I see a few items on the table and a computer at the corner of the table. And
Good.
I'm
gonna hold you there. I'm gonna hold you there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hold you there. Hang on one second, because I appreciate that, and I appreciate that you want to get all the answers, but let's just focus on one answer first, just so everybody gets a chance. But
Okay.
On your first answer was you see 5 people.
I saw 6 people just now, so 6 people instead of 5. Yeah.
Good. You see how easy that is, right? It's
Yeah.
so easy to make a mistake. No problem. Thank you all. Terrific. And you said
Yeah.
that you saw a computer. Good, 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 good. Anybody else? What do you see? Trocy says 7 people. Trocy says 7 people on. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I missed the lady in the middle. Yeah, so 7, yes.
Oh, 7 people. Are we sure we haven't missed anybody else? You know, when I have to take kids on a trip, when I have to take kids on a field trip, do you know how many times I have to count those kids before we get on the bus, after we get off the bus, going into the building, moving from room to room? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're all here. Go. And it's like, oh my gosh! And on a day trip where I have to watch them from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., I've probably counted up to whatever that number is. If there's 25 kids, I've counted up to 25, probably 25 times throughout the day. It gets crazy. It's so easy to lose somebody. So what else do you see? What do you see? Pankaja?
I see them some items on the table, and in the items some food as well.
Okay, good. We see items on the table, and you've identified those items as food. I think we could count that as a good data point. Absolutely. Very few people argue that that's food. That food is some of the items. Good, good, good. Excellent. Minky, what do you see?
I see the computer on the left corner of the picture.
Good, 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 good. Sees a computer on the left-hand side. Excellent. Kim, what do you see? Tom Win? I'm so sorry. I know I'm butchering your names. My apologies.
Thank you for picking me. I see there are 5 people are sitting, 1 people is standing, and 1 woman, she's like sitting, not standing. I don't know that position, how to describe it.
Okay. Good, good. So not only did she see the 7, but she saw the specifics of their body positioning. Excellent. That's awesome. I like that. And next, who shall I pick on next? This is like true teacher fashion, right? I pick on people and you're like, oh no, I didn't do my homework. Huang. What do you see?
Yeah, it's me.
Yes.
Yeah,
Even if it's not you, it's you.
Yeah. Yeah, there are many things to see, but I pay attention to the flower in the room.
Where is
the
it?
window.
Yeah. A flower, plant, as some may call it. But yes, I saw that too. I was just looking at that. You know, in all the times I've ever done this activity, no one's ever mentioned that. Way to go. I mean, seriously, in all the times I've ever done this activity, and I've done this quite a few times, no one's ever mentioned, you know, there's a plant over in the side by the window. Good job. Okay, division director, what do you see? Soon, what do you see?
You calling me? Oh,
Yes.
yes. Yeah, just like other people, I can see the this is the meeting and people are trying to have the conversation, discussing something, and let's see, just wait. Oh, I cannot see the picture again. And I cannot see the picture. And also, yes, I can see it now. And I can see some people some people are standing, some people are sitting down, and it seems that they are in very tension situation. I can see
Okay.
7 people as well. Yeah, so this is what
Excellent. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So part of what we have to do as evaluators is to be very critical about what we are actually seeing and what we are actually hearing. As we just saw in the math problem, we tend to make assumptions. We want to make sure that we are being specific about what we hear and what we see. How many times did somebody use a gesture? How many times did somebody use a particular word? You know, on the way to the World Championships, when you're in the contest and you're going to the World Championships, you do your speech for many different people, many different clubs, many different groups. And sometimes I will ask them to be very specific and say, I want you just to look at gestures. I want you just to look at eye focus. I want you to look specifically at my word choice, so that they can focus and be very specific about what they target, not just, well, I think your speech is good. Good luck, Furzy. You know, I need something more. And one person said, you know, Furzy, you gesture more with your right hand than your left hand. I didn't know that. I did not know that. And he was right. That I gesture more with my right hand. Because I'm right-handed, I tend to gesture more this way. So I started to be more specific. And I started to intentionally turn to my left and intentionally gesture to my left. We can be very specific about how we help our speakers simply by noticing right side, left side. Are we turning our bodies to both sides, whether it's in Zoom or on stage or in person? We can make sure that we are using the space around us in a more interesting way. So right side, left side, very critical for me to know, because the audience gets used to seeing us in this square. Yes, the audience gets used to it. And what happens when you get used to something? You get a little bored. You get a little bored. We can't let our audience get bored. So understanding the right hand from the left hand was important for me in that particular thing. Now, I'm going to give you some answers right now, and then we're going to go into more detail. This is how I take notes. You're like, oh, okay, here we go. This is how I take notes when I do an evaluation. At the top, I put my target speaker's name. You have to have their name, because you have to remind yourself all the time it's their name, because if you can't get their name right, then all of a sudden they don't trust you on anything else you say. They're like, oh my gosh, are you sure you got the right speaker? I got the right speaker. I just forgot your name. So make sure you get their name. Make sure you get your project. Make sure you ask them, what are you going to focus on? What do you want me to focus on? As a speaker, what do you want me to focus on? Now, I'll tell you, when I first started in Toastmasters, people would say, Furzy, what do you want me to focus on? I'm like, I don't know everything. Tell me everything. I would say that as a speaker because I didn't know. I didn't know what to focus on. So if I'm an evaluator and I ask my speaker, what do you want me to focus on? It means that the speaker probably also doesn't know what they want to focus on. But if they don't know what to focus on, then how are they going to get better? Because you can't just focus on everything. If you try to focus on everything, then nothing gets done. So we do enough speeches in Toastmasters that each time we can focus on one thing. We can look at other things too, but if you have an evaluator, have them focus on one particular thing and use an evaluator. See if you can encourage your target speaker to focus on something. Maybe it's, I want to focus on rhythm. I want to focus on the imagery. I want to focus on word choice. I want to focus on making my connections between my points in my speech. I want to focus on making connections with my audience. Most recently, I tried to do a speech and it was in a very advanced club, and I wanted to focus on my rhythm and slowing down. Very slow, because my intensity in my speech tends to be like, yeah. And I was like, I need to try a different pattern. I need to let pauses work for me. I need to let my audience come to me as a speaker. Make sense? So I had to be aware of that. And that's what I asked my evaluator to look at. I said, can you look at not just pausing, but effective pausing to let my audience come to me? I want to change my rhythm as an individual. So what do you want to focus on? Next things, you'll notice that my page is divided left from right. Some things are starting in the left-hand side and some things are starting in the center. Do you notice a pattern? What's starting on the left and what's starting in the middle?
Excuse me. Actually, this is so blurry
Yes.
for us to see what you show on screen. Can you take a picture and send it into the chat box?
Oh, no. Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's awful. Okay. Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get that. So sorry. Hang on 1 second. I got to go dig it up now. Let's see if I can send you the right document. Hang on, almost there. Okay. Is that better? Or do I need to send the document? Can you all read that now?
We get it in the chat box already with the picture.
It's clear?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, good.
Made it clear.
So what do you see different from the left side, from the center side, from the right side? What do you see differently from what I start on one side and then what I do on the other side?
On the right side, we have the left side, we have the good points in the evaluation, and on the other side, this is a recommendation for making it better.
Good. You got it. So on one side, I basically take my page and I divide it left side, right side. And on one side, all the things that I think they did well, and on the other side, all the things that need fixing or I have a problem with. And then at the bottom are my recommendations. At the bottom is what I'm actually going to say. What I do when I speak is, what I do when I evaluate is I write down everything. I write down as much as I can. I mean, I'm hearing and seeing every single detail as much as I can. Almost like when we have an ah counter and they write and they stroke every single time, they mark every single time there's an ah and an I try to do that, depending on the speaker, what it is that I'm looking at. I try to write down words that I think are good. I even put in quotes. If there's a line that they say, I'll put it in a quote. And I'll use a shorthand for me. So I don't try to write out the whole word like audience. If I have to use the word audience, I'll just put A and put a circle on it. I know A means audience. So one side, things that are good. I like this, I like this, I like this. On the other side, I didn't like that. No, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're saying. That wasn't funny. And I put it in sequence so that I can follow the speech chronologically. Make sense? So I know if I wrote this, and then I write something here, I know exactly in the speech where it was. I know that this is probably at the 1 minute mark. This is at the 3 minute mark. Somewhere around the 4 to 5 minute mark, you did this. So I can say, you know what? No gestures, no gestures, no gestures. Ah, right in here. I finally saw a gesture. But it took you 3 minutes to get to it. Yeah? Or funny, 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 not funny. So I saw where you put all these humorous things in the first 2 minutes of the speech, but then there was nothing funny at the end. Even if I'm not sure how to be funny, I can tell a speaker what I heard and what I saw and let them figure it out. See, we don't have to be the most educated speaker or the best speaker in the world to give feedback. We can simply say, this was funny, this was funny, this was funny. But after the 2 minute mark, I stopped laughing. Did you want that? Or did you want me to keep laughing? Now, at some point, you may say, you could call back to it. If you have these 3 things and they're funny, and then not funny, not funny, not funny, not funny, not funny, you could call back here at the bottom. You could do a callback to one of these things, and it'll be funny again. It's okay. So these are some of the things that I can do in my scripting of my evaluations as I write down notes. If I'm typing, it's easier. I just simply space, 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 and then get there. At the bottom, now this is where I put my notes together for what I'm going to say in the actual evaluation speech. In the actual speech of what I'm going to say, I write my notes again. Because what I do is I take a look at everything I wrote, find the commonalities, find the pattern, and realize I only have 3 minutes. I only have 3 minutes to speak, and I don't want to go. So I take it, I put it together, and then I write at the bottom what I'm going to say. Now, there's one other thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to mix in the individual's goals. If you look at the sheet that I gave you, one of the things that I wrote at the top is, what do you want me to focus on? And what are your goals outside Toastmasters? What are your goals outside Toastmasters? And it's interesting because about 50% of the people that I ask that question, all they do is give me their goals inside Toastmasters. But I know you all have goals outside of Toastmasters. If I know what your goals are outside of Toastmasters, I can apply what I'm seeing and hearing in your speech, and I can apply the critique to that. That's where I'm going to be able to help you. Some people can do that, some people can't. I tend to do that because I've been doing it for 30 years as a teacher. I'm always looking at a student and asking, how can I help you move forward? And the same thing for yourself. Does this make sense, Tom? Tom Wynn, does this make sense? And Trukli? All right, so these are the things that we can do to help our target speakers. When I don't know if you can read this one either. So what I want you to do today is, if you can, and you're writing down notes, if you're writing down notes or typing up notes, on the right-hand side, as I speak, write down what things you already know and what things are comfortable. On the left-hand side, I want you to write down what are the things that Ferzi said that you still have questions about, or what do you need to work on? And on the bottom, and you can write this at the very end of it, or you can write this as you go, what are the takeaways? What can you immediately apply to Toastmasters, and what can you immediately apply to your life goals? This is just a practice. So while we're doing this workshop, you can start writing down notes yourself, and you can start practicing how to write notes that way. You're wondering, what am I going to do with all these notes when I write an evaluation for a person? I actually give them all my notes. I will give them all the notes that I write. And I will also fill out page 1, 2, 3 of the evaluation. I know you're wondering, what do you mean fill out page 3? You can't fill out anything on page 3. And then others of you are going, there's a page 3? Yes, there's a page 3. And yes, there's a way to fill it out if you think about it. I'll give all of that to my target speaker. I'll give them all my written notes. I'll give them page 1, 2, 3. I'll give them that as well. And then, of course, I'll go up and I'll give an evaluation. These are all the things that we can do for our speakers. Sound like a lot yet? Any questions? Cool. Are you okay? Does all this make sense?
Yes. I just wonder
Okay.
I just wonder if you can send us the material you use in the training today so that we can deliver to those who are absent.
Well, I'll try. I'll try to send it to you. Now, the next things I send to you are going to be, these are simply the evaluations that you see in Toastmasters, right? Like that's a tip, that's an icebreaker evaluation. The other page, I'll give that a shot. But it's not that complicated. Things are about to get more complicated. All right. Let's take a look at page 1. Are we ready? This is page 1 of the Toastmaster evaluation sheet. Does this look familiar to you? It asks for 3 things. 1, 2, 3. What's the first thing? You know what it is. You don't need to read it. What's the first thing? I know, Jenny, it's a blur, but you know what it is. On the Toastmaster evaluation form, what is the first thing that it asks for? The 3 things. Come on. When you feel, okay, stop looking at it. I can already tell you guys are getting caught. Stop looking at the evaluation form. In an evaluation form on page 1, you have to write out 3 things, right? What's the first, but after you do the name, the project, all that stuff, what's the first thing?
Speech title.
Beyond that, after speech title. Good. Somebody put in the chat what the speaker excelled at. Excellent.
Excelled at.
What's the good? What the speaker excelled at.
And what they may want to work on.
So the second thing is what they're going to work on, right? And what's the third one?
To challenge yourself.
Good. What you're going to challenge them with. Now, here's something to think about. Anything you write on page 1, challenge yourself. Make it something that's not on page 2. What? What does that mean? It means you have to be ultra creative. Now, if you're not sure what that means, and you're like, there's no way I could possibly do that, Furzy, then look at page 2 for answers to page 1. Have I lost anybody yet? Look at page 2 for answers to page 1. But at some point, you're going to get really good. All right, Minky? At some point, you're going to get very good. Does this make sense, Irene? You're going to be very good, and you're going to find things to talk about that are not on page 2, and you put those on page 1. So on page 1, what you excelled at, what you need to work on, and a challenge. Pretty easy. Page 2. Take a look at page 2. You'll notice there are numbers there. What do we do with the numbers? What are we supposed to do with all those numbers?
It's a scale. So we rate them on that scale.
Exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is where a lot of people make a mistake because they're not sure exactly how to do it. They simply go up, down, right? They simply say you're good, not good. And they don't really look at what's it going to take to move from 1 to 5. What is it really going to take to move from one to the other? Or how to move from 3 to 4. How to move from 3 to 4. If you can get someone to move from 3 to 4, you'll help them. We may not get from 1 to 5 right away. I want to go back one step. Excel, work on, challenge. Something to consider. Excel is something that they are already doing. Does this make sense, Kim? What they excelled at is something your speaker is already doing, and they can do again. They can do again on the very next speech. Do it again, do it again, do it again. 2, work on, that's something that they might need to fix, and it could take them 2 to 3 to 4 speeches. It could take them 2 to 4 speeches to get better. You're telling them, oh, you need to look at all audiences. Well, maybe in the second speech, they'll get better at it. Maybe they've only looked from left side to right side, and they're not looking front to back. Yes? So consider that. Consider all the things that they could be doing and how long it'll take them to get there. The challenge. When you challenge your speakers, it could be something that they're already doing well. Does that make sense? It could be something that they are already doing well, but you want to challenge them to do it for more of the speech. You want to challenge them to take it to the next level, to give more details within the story. This way, we are encouraging our speakers. We don't want our speakers to think, oh, I'm just beating you down. You're not good. You're not good. You're not good. Instead, we are living up to the Toastmasters mission of being positive. And we're saying, this is good. Now, here's how you go from good to great. Here's how we go from good to great. So that's a consideration. When we look at page 2, we simply go forward with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You obviously circled a number, but then make sure to write in some comments. Make sure to tell them what they're doing well or specifically what they can do. So that if you're talking about clarity of voice, if somebody's talking about clarity of voice, don't just say, oh, you have a clear voice. Instead, listen closely. If they don't have a clear voice, what can they do to get better? So imagine you are saying some words in a speech and you concentrate, you focus on the last letter of the word. Does that make sense? Focus on the last letter of the word. It makes it clear. Maybe that's how we can help our target speaker. You tell them your voice was on clarity, it's probably a 3. But if you focus on the last letter of the word, it will be clearer. That's how they go from a 3 to a 4. Or you start out really strong at the beginning of the sentence, but when you speak, you sort of die out. Ever heard that? Somebody's starting to say, and then they drop it off. Today, I'm going to speak about love. Today, I want to talk about my family. So they start out really strong, and then they drop at the end of the sentence. You can talk about that. You can tell your target speaker, great start, but then it would drop off. Or at the beginning of your speech, you were so nervous, I couldn't hear all the words because you were speaking so quickly. Now, this is both rate and clarity, but by the end, I could understand. You can talk about that. So it's not just, did they have it or not have it, but did they have it at the beginning? Did they have it at the middle? Did they have it at the end? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Page 3. What's on page 3? Look at page 3. Doesn't matter that you can't read it because you're all going to go to the TI website and pull these things up. On page 3, it tells you why you should give someone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In Toastmaster language, right? Use that language. Yes, guidelines for scoring, but look at that language. I know for many of you, English is not your first language. That's okay. I'm trying to learn Chinese myself, and I'm dying. I am dying. It's so hard to learn a second language. I've tried to learn French in my life. I've tried to learn Latin. I've tried to learn Spanish. It's hard to speak a second language. You don't have all the vocabulary. What do you got here? Doan, what do you got here, man? Irene, what do we have here? We got all that vocabulary, right? We have all the language right there for us. Man, it's all written out for you by Toastmasters. And remember when I said you can fill out page 3 and you're like, how am I supposed to fill out page 3? Circle it. You circle it. You circle not just the level, but you circle the word. And you say, right here is why I gave you a 3. And this is the problem. It doesn't engage your full audience. So these are some of the things that we can do as evaluators, as coaches. These are some of the things we can do as coaches to help our speakers. You don't have to memorize everything. It's all right there. Make sense? Page 3. Remember page 3. Division director, that's your battle cry. Page 3. If we can improve our evaluations, we will improve our speakers. If we improve our speakers, they will stay in Toastmasters. If they stay in Toastmasters, our numbers go up. When our numbers go up, we get DCP points. So these are the ways that we create value for our speakers. This is how we create value. This is why people stay, because they're like, man, I got such a good evaluation. I can get better at that. Let's look at some specifics. All right. Is that one fairly clear? Can you all see that? Gestures. On number one, what does it say, Irene?
Fully integrates physical gestures with content to deliver an exemplary speech. But
Actually,
what is
Irene,
exemplary speech? I mean, like,
Irene,
what is full? Can you hear me?
I can, but I had a different question for you.
Oh,
Because actually, you said number 5. What I was asking was number 1.
sorry.
That's okay.
Oh my
Irene.
gosh.
That's okay. Irene, it's okay. It's all right. You read the wrong thing, but you asked a very good question. It's okay. It's all right. You're doing just fine. So, Irene, can I come back to your question in just a moment? Is that all right? Okay.
Can I read the
I'll
first
come
one
back
then?
to your question. No. Yes, yes. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Uses very distracting gestures or no gestures.
What's a distracting gesture, Irene?
Something that is not relevant to the speech and is too over.
Yeah. Like, what's an example of a distract? Can anyone give me I mean, you did great, Irene. I don't want to keep you on the spot. Can anyone give me an example of what's a distracting gesture? Can anyone think of what's a distracting gesture? What's a distracting? Yeah, I'm seeing it, right? Crossing arms. Yeah, scratching our head, playing with our hair, playing with our... Where's my hair? Okay, yeah, playing with our hair. Yeah, absolutely. All of these. Fidgeting, right? We're fidgeting with our clothing. Yeah, typing with keyboards. Good. Playing with things, looking at the screen. Absolutely. Thank you, timer. So these are all things that become distracting. Now, Irene, you asked a very good question. 5, fully integrates physical gestures with content to deliver an exemplary speech. An exemplary speech is a great speech. What we use is our gestures to reinforce what we do. So let me give you some examples first, all right, Irene? And then I'm going to fully answer your question. Would all of you go ahead and stand with me, please? Those of you with your cameras on, or if you'd like to turn on your camera, would you stand for me? We're going to do some demonstrations together. And what I want you to do is to move your heads, roll it one way. Come on, you've been listening to me for 50 minutes. I know you're getting a little bored. You're like, oh my gosh, we don't listen to people for 50 minutes. Good, roll your head the other way. Excellent. And now your shoulders. Would you raise your shoulders for me? Ready? Up, 1, 2, 3, and down. Good. Your shoulders up, 1, 2, 3, and down. Very good. Excellent. Some of you do that very well. It's probably because when you were a student in math class, your teacher would say, what's the answer? And you go, I don't know. Okay. What I want you to do next is take your hands and I want you to rotate them backwards. Would you do that for me? Okay, go ahead. I'm looking at my screen and I'm looking to see who is doing it. There you go. Thank you, Ms. Bin. Ah, there you go. Cool. Good. And now forwards. Good. And now one back and one forward. There you go. Doan, make sure not to hit the cat. What? One forward and one back. Excellent. Now, very strange. Very strange. I want you to keep your hips in place, but rotate just your upper torso. Can you do that without hurting yourself? Keep your hips in place, but rotate just your upper torso. Good. Now rotate both your upper and your lower torso in the same direction. And now to challenge you, would you rotate your upper torso one way and your lower torso the other way? Would you do that for me? Your upper torso, I'm going to lower my camera. Don't worry, Minky, I got pants on. So what I want you to do is rotate your upper torso one way and your lower torso the other way. So this is going this way and this is going that way. Excellent. You can return to having a seat. You're wondering, why would we need to do that? We want to think about gestures. We want to think about gestures very specifically. So for example, what happens when you have a PowerPoint? People do this. And they have to look at the back of the speaker's head. But if we remember that we can gesture backwards, see what I mean? We forget that we can gesture backwards. So I'm gesturing back to my PowerPoint and I'm gesturing towards my audience. And my head is turning. I now have engaged 3 to 4 audience members all at one time because I'm pivoting my body. My chest goes one way, my head goes another, my hand goes another, and my hand goes another. Can we give that kind of feedback to a speaker? Oh, yeah. Right? But first, we have to be able to identify it. We have to identify that our hand is gesturing to the PowerPoint, or that, watch, I've moved to the other side of the stage. I've turned my body and I'm still gesturing towards the PowerPoint. You'll notice how I'm not looking back at the PowerPoint. I don't need to look back. I know what's on the PowerPoint. I wrote it, right? Don't you just want to say that to speakers sometimes? Why do you keep looking at the PowerPoint? Don't you want to say that to your boss at work? Boss, why are you looking at the PowerPoint? Didn't you write it? So we can gesture towards it and still keep our eyes on the audience. You want to keep your eyes on the audience because it's engaging. I want to keep my eyes on the audience in case the kids go do something stupid in the back of the classroom. Come on, you all know that kid, right? When you were in class, wasn't there one kid that you're like, oh, don't turn your back on that guy. He's going to do something silly. Who had that? Who had a classmate? Who had a classmate that you're like, oh, he's going to do something bad. He's going to do something really silly if you're not careful. Yes? Yeah? You know that kid? Don't give him scissors. He's going to do something silly. So we want to make sure that our eyes are here and our hands are here. And that's why I asked you to rotate your hands. Because watch, when you do this warm-up, whoa! That's exactly what I'm doing. Or when my hands are doing it like this, whoa! Or if you do one hand forward and one hand back, try it. Go ahead, try it. See if you can do it without hitting your hand on the desk. One hand forward, one hand back. Whoa! I'm gesturing this way. I'm moving my hands this way. You can give that kind of feedback to your target speaker. Because there are 3 planes for gestures. This is one plane. It divides plane, P-L-A-N-E-S, geometric plane. This is one plane. It divides the left from the right. When we have hands that go left and right, it's more interesting. You can give that to your speaker. There's another geometric plane that's right here. It goes top to bottom. You ever notice how most people, when they gesture, their hands are right here. They don't really go up or down. They stay right in one level. Anytime we break the plane, more interesting. You can give that piece of advice to your target speaker. Even up. When's the last time you gestured above your own head? I know. Right now you're thinking, that's very obvious, Furzy. Everyone knows that. Really? Go online, pull up any YouTube or TEDx, and tell me if they gesture above their heads or not. Because we forget to. We think that all the gestures should be where we can see them. No, you can gesture where you can't see it as a speaker, but the audience can. You can see my hand, can't you? I can't see my hand because I'm looking this way, but I know what my hand is doing. So when we break this plane, it's more interesting. The last plane is right here at my shoulders. It separates front from back. So I can do this. Now, I don't have to point back just because of PowerPoint. Irene, I can also talk about my past. Before I was in Toastmasters, after Toastmasters. Before I was Toastmasters, I was so unhappy. And then I got to Toastmasters and I found so many solid people and friends and good advice. And now moving forward with Toastmasters, you see what I did? My hands have gone here to here to here. Make sense, Irene? Now, to answer your question, and you ask a very good question, level 5, how do we make an exemplary speech? When we have our good speeches, we make a point, don't we? And as any good speaker, Minky, we give our point at the beginning, at the middle, and at the end, correct? Give me a thumbs up if you agree. When you have a main point in your speech, you do it in your introduction, you do it in your body, you do it in conclusion. Give me a thumbs up if you agree. I think everybody's frozen. Am I frozen? Are you all frozen? Okay. Great. Thank you, Ms. Bin. Just making sure I wasn't alone here in the Zoom. That'd be like a nightmare. Just you and the Zoom all alone. So when we have that speech and we're talking about something, we say it 3 times. You use the same gesture all 3 times. You use gesture to communicate how things move forward. You use gesture to talk about it. You use the same gesture. Whatever the gesture is, you emphasize using it. You use a gesture to emphasize your point. So here's a gesture and here's a gesture. You ever notice how most people use their hands symmetrically? What happens if you're asymmetrical? Use your hands to make your point. Before Toastmasters, I kept my heart closed. But now that I'm in Toastmasters, my heart is open and I can share that with the people in my family. you can use your hands to describe things that are too abstract to understand. The hands can help you do that. Gestures, that's how you can give feedback to your target speakers. All right, you guys good? Any questions so far? I know I've gone quite a while. No questions. Irene, does that answer your question? Irene, thumbs up. You good? Okay, good deal. HP, does this make sense? Okay, I'm going to move forward then. Minky, you all right? Sorry, I just see my screen freezing and I don't know whether
One
I'm
question.
actually... Great, what's the question?
You were talking about the main point in a speech. Is the main point has to be the same at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end?
Yes.
To repeat it so people focus on it and remember it and take it after the speech is over?
Yes.
Okay.
When you do a good speech, you have to repeat it. When you do a good speech, you have to repeat it. See what I just did there? When you do a good speech, you have to repeat it. You don't have to repeat it word for word, but you can adjust it ever so slightly. But in a good speech, you don't say your main point just once because they'll forget it, because you're talking for 5 to 7 minutes. Most people can't remember what you say. Seriously. Think back to your last Toastmaster meeting. How much of the speech did you actually remember? 0. Right? You have lives. 0. You remembered 0 of the speech. So how do you make that speech stick? You use a gesture that reinforces the idea, and you do it 3 times so that every time you say it, the gesture is there. We have to love our family. We have to love our family. Have you ever had family? Have you ever lost family? We have to remember to love our family. And so in conclusion, my fellow Toastmasters, let's make sure that if we remember one thing at all from today's meeting, don't let it just be the word of the day. Let it be that we remember to go home and love our family. Whatever. By having a gesture that matches with your main points, you are engaging your audience in a way that's more memorable. And so that's why you have fully integrates physical gesture with content to deliver an exemplary speech. Now take a look at this. Eye contact. Eye contact. Huang, are you there? Oh, just lost her. Ku, Toastmaster of the day. What is number 5 on eye contact?
Yes, but firstly, before I read the number 5 from eye contact, there is a question from the listener.
What? Okay, yes.
I would like to read out loud the questions for you. Mr. Tuấn Anh asked you, I'm looking back at note-taking. How can you take quick notes while still pay attention to the speaker? I tend to lose my focus at the speaker while taking notes.
Practice, practice, practice. You have to write notes in such a way that it doesn't take a whole lot of your mind. It's like driving, right? You drive enough now to where your focus is not on your handlebar or your steering wheel or your feet. Those become reflexive. Your focus is on the road in front of you. Yes? Should be. You should not be focused at that good-looking person walking on the side of the road. Hey, sorry, right? You can't do that. You can't do that. You got to keep your eyes on the road, and that's the target speaker. But I can watch, I can write, and especially if I'm typing, I can type without looking, right? Some of you didn't get my typing teacher. My typing teacher, I have to thank her because I can do this. Many of you Ku, my guess is you're thumbing it, right? Can you text without looking, Ku? Can you text on your phone without looking?
No,
Yeah,
no,
you can.
no. Just I just can type without looking on the computer, but my phone, no, not yet.
Well, you got to upskill yourself, Ku.
Yeah.
I got students that can do it, you know. I have students who can text under the table. So here's the thing. You can write out notes and keep an eye on. Don't spend too much time writing great notes. It's not about writing great notes. You'll have time for that later. You're simply writing things down so that you don't forget. That's it. I hope that answers your question. Thank you, Toastmaster. All right, take a look at number 5 for me. Kui, would you read that, please?
Yes. Number 5, eye contact. Uses eye contact to convey emotions and elicit response.
Wow. What do you mean elicit response? Does anybody know what that means? Elicit response. How do I use my eyes to elicit response? Do you know how to do that? Right? Remember when I did this just a second ago? I said, roll your heads one way, roll the other way. Part of that is to remind us that we can use our heads. We can pivot. We can pivot like this. You know, when a kid comes to me, Irene, and says, I didn't bring my homework because my dog ate my homework. Really? Right? You give him that look. You give him that, right? Cool. You see, you just did it, right? Irene's like, yeah. You're like, so we can use our eyes. We can use our facial gestures. That's all part of eye contact. And not only do we make eye contact with the audience in general, but you can divide up your audience. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So front row, 1, 2, 3, middle, 4, 5, 6, back row, 7, 8, 9. I can be sure, and I can pause, and then I can look over. I'll give you a hint. There's something else you can do. If you are moving on stage and you want to move from one side of the stage to the other, find somebody on that side of the audience. And when you make your cross, go and make eye contact with them like this. Strong. It makes the eye contact with the movement tied to your line. Bam. Obviously, don't use it all the time, but use it when you want to make a point. So if you want to say Toastmasters will change your life, you can look, you're standing here. Toastmasters will change your life. Strong. The other way you can do that is share it. Toastmasters will change your life. Put a pause, use your eye focus in there, use your hand to hold the gesture. Because where was I looking first? Here, yes? I was looking here first. Toastmasters will change. Now, where's my eye focus now? Here. But you'll notice how this is still there. Change your life. I've now got this audience, and I've got that audience, and I've got this audience. Can we help our speakers do that? Yes, we can. We can help our target speakers do that. We can help our target speakers increase their sales in their company because they can talk to several different people at one time. They can use their gestures and they can use eye focus with their customers to make their professional lives better. They can talk to their children and hold their attention a little bit more importantly, especially when you got to tell your kids, I love you. It's important, isn't it? So these are some of the things that we can do with eye focus in the speeches and in regular life. We can help our target speakers get better at that. Let's take a look at something else. And then we're going to use all of these, by the way. All of you are about to use these. Interest. Fully engages audience with exemplary, well-constructed content. Irene, this is sort of going back to what you were talking about, where we have content, where we say it in the introduction, we say it in the body, we say it in the conclusion, we repeat it. But other things that we can do, data points. Are we using good data points when we do a speech? We want to use data. We want to use numbers. We want to use anecdotes. Are we doing enough of that? Are we doing enough of that? Because take a look at number 5. Fully engages audience with exemplary, well-constructed content. Well-constructed. Now, it's got to be interesting, too. It has to be interesting. So the data that you pull, it has to be interesting. Can we help our target speakers by understanding what kinds of data are more interesting? What kinds of stories are more or less interesting? Maybe cut out the details in the stories. Timer, is your name pronounced Tui? Tu?
Yes.
Tui? Tui? Tell me something that happened to you with your family. Anything you want.
You want to check about your time?
No, just tell me. Tell me right now something that has happened in your family.
In my family? Let me see. Everything is okay. I think that I have a happy family with my parents, my siblings. I can say anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything that's not taboo in Toastmasters.
Let me see. In my family, actually, I have a big family with 8 people. Yeah. My parents, one grandmother, and actually, my parents, they have got 5 children, and I'm the second. Yeah. In my family, because there are many children, so sometimes we can have a small arguments in my family, and actually it will create stories in family. And I always want to live with my parents and my siblings. So in this time, I don't have any plan for my new family, my own family like that, because in this time I want to support my parents, have them to prepare and support my younger brother and sister.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm going to hold you there. Nice.
Yeah.
Now, watch what happens. I'm going to be you now. Okay, you did great, by the way. You did great. I'm going to be you. Would you please ask me about my family? Go ahead.
It means that I will create a question for you.
All you have to do is ask me the question, tell me about your family. That's it. Repeat.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me for your family.
1 minute timer. Well, I have a big family. I've got my mother and my father, and they're really good. I got a big family, and I'm number 2. And, I have opportunities to move away, because sometimes my family, it can be a little, there can be some conflict. I had my opportunities to move away, but I really want to stay with my family and honor my parents. And I want to take care of my 2 youngest siblings, my brother and my sister, because they're important to me. I think when we talk about life in general, it has to start with family. I think when we talk about the right atmosphere at work, I think it has to do with family. I think when I think of my Toastmasters Club, it has to do with family. Why do I want to be a mentor in Toastmasters? Because it's like taking care of my 2 family members, because it's family. 1 minute. Now, I'm going to do that again. I want you to ask me the same question. Would you ask me that same question again, please? Ready? Go ahead.
Okay. Tell me about your family.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Family is everything. And I've got a big family, parents, brothers, sisters. And my parents helped me understand who I am and what's most important. And that's why now, even though I have the opportunity to move away, I won't, because I want to honor my parents and I want to take care of my younger siblings. And that's the same thing that I apply in Toastmasters and at work. I take care of people because people is everything. 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Ask me the question one more time. Ask me the question one more time.
Okay, tell me about your family.
Family's everything. Are you kidding me? Everything is about family. And it starts with my parents. They love me, and that's why I love them. And that's why I love my brothers and sisters. 15 seconds. We can help our target speakers. We can help our members by understanding that a story can be this short, that long, that long, that long.
Mhm.
We can give that kind of feedback because that's all part of how something is interesting in a speech. That's all part of the structure in a speech. We can do that. Sometimes they add too many details. Sometimes they don't have enough details. Sometimes when we speak and we're talking about the details, we can speed up on parts of it. Keep the details, but speed it up, speed it up, speed it up. And then pause. So, Toastmaster of the day, ask me any table topics question, anything you want, something that has nothing to do with family. You have the easy part. You just have to ask me a question.
Okay. How do you define a good communicator?
Wow, a good communicator. Well, I appreciate that. I learned about communication like many of us do with our families. Am I right? I mean, if you communicated the wrong way to your mother, she'd probably slap you backside of the head. At least that's how I learned what to say and what not to say. So when you have a big family like mine, you learn about communication. And it has prepared me for how to communicate, not just with my words, but also communicate with my actions. One of the things that I had to do in my life is I had to make a choice. Do I move away or do I stay? And I ended up staying here because of my parents and what they did for me. And I want to let them know, I want to communicate to them that I love them and that this is what I owe them. That's how I communicate. Make sense? You can take that story and apply it to anything. Those were completely different things, right? The question and the answer are completely different, but you can use it. Now, did I know the answer? Yeah. Remember all those pauses I put? Throat, soft, tenderness. It's not even my family. So we can give that kind of feedback to our speakers. We can coach them. We can show them how to take what they learn in Toastmasters and apply it to their careers. If I had just another second, because that was just 1 minute, if I had just another second, I would apply that to my job as well. Why do I stay with my company? Because I want to communicate with them that I'm being loyal. All of that. So these are some of the things that we can do when we are looking at interest with our audience and engaging our audience. We talked about excellence. Some of the things that I would write for excellence. Remember on page 1, what are you excellent at? Everybody remember this? On page 1, what are you excellent at? One of the things is vulnerability. And that's just what I showed you all here. Vulnerability, you care. You care about the family members. And then you coach, thank you, Timer, you coach your speaker on how to care about their workers as well. Another thing you can do, excellent. You did an excellent job of speaking to us, not at us. Speaking to us, not at us. A great way to engage your target speaker. Another one, you excelled at, you have a good warmth that audiences love. I think it's important. Not that that's the biggest and most important thing about a speaker, but it is something we should identify in our speakers, that there's something warm in the way that they speak, and they can apply that with their coworkers. When you speak from the heart. You speak very authentically. You should definitely use that with your customers. Wouldn't it be good to know that? Wouldn't it be good to know that you have a heart and that we hear your heart and we feel your heart when you speak? You should continue doing that with your students in your classroom. You should do that with your family. Yes, even with your mother-in-law. I noticed some of you kind of laughed at that, and you probably shouldn't. Some of you did not laugh, and maybe that's because your mother-in-law's in the other room. All right. Your energy helped push your humor. There's a tough one, but there's a good note, right? Energy, talking about the energy of our target speakers. Your energy helped push your humor. But you'll notice how I said like a train. Nothing is stopping us. When we give an evaluation, nothing is stopping us from finding a metaphor to help our target speaker understand how good they are. Like a train, the train pushes a heavy load. Your energy helped push your humor. The energy pushed the message like a train. In this case, it's a simile, yes? So we can find metaphors, similes, and this also helps us be effective evaluators. You had great imagery. It's great to identify the imagery that people have. We are using great language skills when we speak. We should be able to identify that in our target speakers. Here's a simple way. Remember, number 2, you need to improve at things. Here's a simple way. Please stand for your speeches. When we're on Zoom, come on now, we're all on Zoom. You have to stand. Look at me. I'm standing. You have so much more energy when you're standing. If you're sitting, and I know most of you are sitting, it's kind of deadening. Now, you're the audience, so of course you're sitting right now. But when you give your speech, it's very simple to remind your speaker, please stand. Use the energy in your body. Here's another one. Another critique, pause and check for reactions like you would for your team members. So when you say something important, pause. Use eye focus. Combine eye focus with pausing to check for reactions. Remember, in eye focus, it says uses eye focus to elicit response. You're checking. If you pause and check and make eye contact, your audience will go, That's what you're checking for. That eye contact is critical to you being successful as a speaker. Give that kind of feedback to your target speaker. Coach them on how they can improve their eye focus and how they can improve their pausing. Use stories to help your customers understand your point. Just like I showed you, we use stories, we can make stories longer or shorter, and then apply it to their lives. Remember, one of the things that I do as an evaluator is I find out what your goals are outside of Toastmasters. What are your goals outside of Toastmasters? And it has nothing to do with level 3, level 4, level 5, or getting DTM. It has everything to do with what I'm doing outside. I want to be a better speaker. I want to improve my English. I want to find a boyfriend or girlfriend in my club. I don't know. So how do you use Toastmasters to improve what you're doing outside of Toastmasters? And this is part of it. Always refer back to what they want. It makes it personal, doesn't it? It makes it personal. It makes it personal. If the evaluations aren't personal, they're not going to listen. Why? Because they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. They don't care how much you know as an evaluator, as an officer, as a mentor, as a district officer. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Your members will stay with your club because you care, not because you know a lot. So something to consider. Amplify your pivot points. This is something else that we can say to our target speakers. Amplify your pivot points with tonal change and facial expressions. What? What does that even mean, Furzy? When we give a speech, the speech tends to be going in one direction. And then at some point, the speech turns. And then the speech turns again. Yes? The speech is going one direction, and then it pivots, and then it pivots. At those pivot points, you want a change in your tone. Yeah? At those pivot points, you want to change yet your tone. And then my job was going along very well. But then I got a new boss, and the new boss was a jerk. But then I had a conversation with my boss. And after I had a conversation with my boss, all is well again. We change our voice, not just anywhere, but at those pivot points of a speech. Can you help your target speaker find those pivot points? Can you help your speakers understand that the structure of their speech should have pivot points where things shift, and they can use their voice, variety in their voice, to pronounce those points and make it more obvious? Watch a movie, you'll see it. Pivot points. Listen to the music. Pivot points. Questions on that? That's a big topic. Anyone have a question on that? That's a huge, huge idea. Okie, moving forward. Work for vocal resonance. This is a challenge. Remember when I said that a challenge could take longer than just 5 to 7 weeks? It could take 10. Work for vocal resonance. Emphasize key words. This is hard. This is not easy for people. When we speak, we should use our diaphragm, not just being loud, but having resonance to our voice. We can give that to our target speakers. We can say, you know, right now your voice sounds really pinched and it sounds really stressed. Breathe. Breathe deeper. When you wake up in the morning, say, hello, world. Before you wake up, before you reach for your phone, say, hello, world. That's your real voice. If we can help our target speakers find their real resonant voice, we can help them be better, not just in Toastmasters, but anywhere else in life, because now their voice carries a weight, a gravitas. So that's something you can challenge your speaker on. And if you evaluate your speaker this week, and you say work on vocal resonance, and then you evaluate your speaker 6 weeks from now, you can give feedback on that. You could say, you know, you've gotten a lot better at your resonance, or we want to keep working on your vocal resonance that we talked about a month ago. Help them understand. So you're not just looking at one speech one time, but you're looking at helping them throughout that process. You're looking at them as an individual. You're looking at them as an individual. If I'm giving feedback as a principal, as a school principal, if I'm giving feedback to my teachers, I understand where my teachers are progressing. I understand where they had been and where they are and where they could go. I can give feedback on that. I can help them understand how they move towards their goals, not my goals, but what are their goals, and help them get there. That's how I become the best leader I can be. People wonder, what are you supposed to do as a leader? Your job as a leader, grow your people. Grow them, grow them, grow them. You do that with evaluations that focus on them. Not just saying, you need to improve your target goals. You need to get more customers. Just do it. How are you supposed to do that? But if you care about them and give them tips on how they can actually improve and let them know what they do well, what they can get better at, and challenge them for the next goal, you're going to help them go from here to here. Now you're an evaluator. Now you're a coach. Now you're a leader. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Help them go from here to there, zero to hero, mild to wild, whatever phrase you want to use. That's what we do as coaches and evaluators. That's how we make Toastmasters important to people. Lastly, challenge. Tell us what to do. As a speaker, tell us what you want us to do. Challenge us. Challenge us as the audience. Are you challenging your speaker to challenge the audience? Are you challenging your target speaker to challenge the audience? All right, here's the last thing we're going to do. I'm going to bring on a target speaker right now. I'm going to bring on a target speaker, and what I would like for you to do is to pick one of these things. Pick one of these points and evaluate the target speaker. So pick clarity, vocal variety, or gestures, or eye contact, or the interest level of a speech. Now, some of you are more advanced. Some of you are very advanced. Some of you are still new to Toastmasters. Some of you are advanced. So things like gestures and eye focus, too easy for you. You want to know, Furzy, how do I tackle the tough stuff? How do I tackle writing of the script? Okay, take a look at the last ones. Audience awareness, comfort level. These are all going to be things that are a little bit harder. How do you write an interesting speech? How do you gauge a speaker's audience awareness? So pick one. Does everyone have one thing that they want to look at? Everyone understand? I'm about to give you a target. Just one moment. Yeah, I'm going to ask you to come on in just a second. Okay, Tom? Just wait. I'm going to ask my friend Tom. He's going to come in here and he's going to give you a 2-minute speech. And I want you to pick one of these and give him feedback. Everybody ready? Everybody picked one? Just one. You don't have to do it all. Just one, because we don't have a whole lot of time. I get that. Okay. On, you good? Toastmaster of the day, you good? Irene? Thumbs up, 7 up. All right. Here we go. I'm going to bring Tom on. Now, Tom is a special case, okay? He just joined Toastmasters. Tom just joined Toastmasters because he just opened up a restaurant. He just opened up a restaurant, and he joined Toastmasters because one person told him, you got to talk to people, Tom. You got to talk to customers, and you got to talk to the chef, and you got to talk to your waitstaff, right? You got to get better at that. So he's joining Toastmasters so that he can get better at that. All right. So I want you to think about everything that I've talked about today. You guys remember everything I talked about? It's a lot, right? Hopefully you took notes. You didn't take notes, did you? You're kind of like doing something else. You're probably watching a soccer game right now. So I want you to think about how we're writing notes. Think about what you would put on page 1. Rate him. And again, you only have to pick one of them. Rate him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Think about the specifics. Think about the specific things, whether you chose gesture or eye contact or interest level of writing a speech. And what kind of feedback would you give him? And remember, make it personal. Make it personal. Just a second, Tom. I'm almost there. Make it personal for Tom, okay? Any questions? Okay. 2 minutes. Here's Tom. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Morrow, owning a restaurant. Owning a restaurant, Tom Morrow. Hello. My name is Tom Morrow. I know it's kind of silly, tomorrow. That's because my mother had a real bad sense of humor. And so she and my dad gave me a really bad name. I love my mom, even though she gave me this bad name. And I love her because she gave me so much when I was young. One of the things that she gave me, she gave me really good food. My mother was a really good chef. And I want to honor her, not just by saying she was good, but I want to open this restaurant because of her. Because when I was young, she would always have my friends come over. And when the friends came over, they would eat and they would like, hey, Mrs. Morrow, can we stay here and just keep eating here? Because you cook so much better than my own mom. I know. So I want to take all the recipes that my mom had and open it in the restaurant. And I want to name the restaurant after my mother. I think that's the best way to honor her. But it's scary because I got to talk to like cooks, I got to talk to waiters, and I got to say things to customers to keep them coming back. And I'm not sure what to say. So that's why I joined Toastmasters. So thanks for having me in your club. I really appreciate the chance to do this icebreaker. Okay, thank you. My name is Tom Morrow. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Great job, Tom. That was great. That was great. Tom, it's our newest member, Tom. Okay. Who wants to give an evaluation for Tom? Give a moment, write your notes. I think I should pick on someone who doesn't have their camera on. What do you guys think? Who'd like to give it a shot? Oh, Pankaja. Pankaja, I always wonder if I'm saying your name right or wrong. But you've never told me I was an idiot, so I guess I'm somewhat close.
No, you are on the dot. So that's how you say my name. Yes. Let me stand and speak. So I'll just give me 1 second.
Fantastic. She's gonna stand. Ugh. And we're going to have several people give evaluations. So if you didn't get a chance to raise your hand earlier, certainly you can go next. And remember, you only have to give evaluation on one of the points. That way you can sort of focus and you can drill down. Yes, you can really drill down. It's not a matter of, oh, how many things can I see? But how can you, on the one thing that you do see, can you drill down? You guys remember when we talked about the picture? Yes, you remember back at the very beginning when I said, hey, what do you see here, right? And I said, oh, look at the picture. What do you see? And I know there are many things, but what we want to focus on is drilling down so that we don't accidentally think, oh, there's only 4 people, when really there's like 7, right? So we want to drill down. We want to get really specific. And we want to give our target speaker the kind of detail and the kind of evaluation that will keep them coming back and probably inspire them to be a mentor. All right. Pankaja, are you there? Did I lose you? I lost you.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm there.
Okay, I've lost you on my screen. Ah, well, you're on my screen, your camera's closed.
Oh, is it?
Is everyone else? On my screen, yes.
No.
Can you see me?
Yes, clearly.
Oh, you can?
Wow.
Okay. Oh, so
Go for it.
Okay.
Well, there you go. Now I see you. Now I see you. Thank you. I didn't know if it was, is it me or is it you? You know, so I wasn't sure. Now that we're in this relationship,
Okay.
it's not
I
me,
think
it's
for
you.
a minute, right? Only for a minute. Good. Yes.
Which element did you want to choose to give feedback on?
Audience interest.
Cool. Way to go. All right. The stage is yours.
Tom, you were connected with me from the time you spoke. You know why? Because you spoke from your heart. You were so authentic. And when I heard you say, I said, oh, poor Tom, I can relate with you. And do you know why? the key reason was you had your own style, you were just yourself, and you were brave enough to use humor. You played with your name, Tom, Morrow, tomorrow, and your mom, and telling us that bit of that insight into your personal life. And I loved you from that moment. And you got me hooked. And I was all there to listen to you till the very end. And I know you were a bit nervous. It's your first time maybe on the stage, but that humor was great. And I want you to know that, Tom. And perhaps towards the end or even in the middle, if you could go back to that piece of humor, playing with that name, for example, when your friend said, can we stay here? And you would say, oh, no, not tomorrow. My name is not tomorrow. You just stay here tonight, okay? So use that humor. Even at the very end, just call back to that piece of humor because we loved you at that moment and we love you even more because you'll remind us why we love you so much. To sum it all, you were great, you were authentic, you spoke from your heart, and that humor was the icing on the cake. And if you would bring up that humor a bit more in the middle and the end, I would be all yours.
Hey, way to go, Pankaja! Kulubkar. I think I've run into that name before. Milland? I know somebody with that same
Yes,
last name.
yes,
Oh,
so-
very good.
He's my brother. He's my brother.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh! How cool is that? Okay, good deal. Good deal. So tell me some things that you saw her do, heard her say that thought, oh, that's good. That's good. What do you think? Minky, what'd you see Pankaja do that you thought that was good as an evaluator? Minky?
Well, I see that she can instead of just sitting on the chair, she can stand up and outline all the stage around her room, and that is the one thing that I see in her evaluation.
Yeah, she did that really well, didn't she? As a matter of fact, she set up her whole room and then she was moving. She explored this dynamic. Yes, she explored this dynamic, and that was good because she had that energy targeted towards her target speaker. Fantastic. Terrific. Irene, tell me something else that she did that was good.
I really like her energy. The way she talked was very motivating because she puts all the energy into it. So, and she used her hand gesture to really emphasize her point. So that was good, I thought.
Good, 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 good. Now, she chose interest level, audience interest, and she focused on the humor and the touching moments with Tom, yes? And so she was very specific. She chose it. She identified it. She gave it really good, positive reinforcement, and then even talked about how to come back to it. So even within one element, she was able to be positive and yet challenge. That was outstanding. Great job. Give her a round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's not easy. It's not easy to do what I just asked you to do. Excellent. Who'd like to go next? We're on red, so I know we're getting close. We're in the last 10 minutes. Maybe 7 minutes. I just noticed it kind of looks like the flag of China. You know, you kind of got like the red and then the yellow. Okay, nobody found that funny. It's okay. I'll try that joke again tomorrow. We'll see if more people laugh. Anybody else like to try an evaluation? Otherwise, we'll just go straight to the test. That's what I tell kids, right? If there's no questions, we're going to the test. Then all of a sudden they're like, oh, there's Irene's family. Irene 1 and Irene 2. Okay, very good. Any other questions or anybody want to try an evaluation for Tom.
All right, I try.
Yes.
This is
Go
my
for it.
first evaluation.
Oh, which one did you want to do? Which element?
Gestures.
Gestures. Good. Go ahead.
All right. I can see the way you speak. You did put some effort to emphasize your point by using some gesture. It was pretty clear. And what I would want you to focus on the next time is to be more balanced in your gesture. Have you noticed that you only speak with your hands, with your only right hands? And your hands were moving, but only one. And it was the same towards the beginning, the middle, and the end. It was more or less the same gesture like the water. But the water has different speed, can have a break, can be large, small. So I'd like you to focus more on your hand gesture, to pause it, to make it, to really make the point when it's needed. So I will challenge you on that for the next time. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, give a round of applause. Nice job. Oh, I see. You had help. Okay, well, hey, that was great, Irene. So she talked about, and you picked up, because I obviously I did that very specifically, right, as Tom Morrow. And so, yeah, he only used one hand, and he used it the same way. And I love how you talked about water, like water. Oh my gosh. So you created a metaphor, a simile, you created an image that your target speaker could use. Your target speaker is going to remember that image. Your audience is going to remember that image. If you want to talk about a winning evaluation, you've got to give your audience an image that they can hang on to. Because that's why we do the evaluations, not just for one person, but the entire club, yes? We want the entire room to learn from what we're giving that one speaker. We shouldn't speak to just the one speaker. We can speak to everyone. And that's where I would ask you, Irene, to think about that. Yes? Think about talking to everyone, how they can do better at their speeches as well. Like you were giving it to Tom, which was brilliant. Now teach everyone, talk to everyone about that one element. Make sense? You did great. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure where I am on time, but I know I'm close. I'm at red, and that means I probably only have a couple minutes left if there's a question that you haven't had a chance to ask.
Okay, one question.
Okay.
When you do online speech, I see that you're standing up. I would like to know where your eyes are focusing on your camera or on your computer. Are you focusing on the point on top or?
Right there, right at the little green dot. Right
the
at
green
the camera.
dot of the camera, right?
Yep. I focus right on the camera. Now, sometimes I'm having to demonstrate things, and sometimes I'm looking here to make sure that I'm still within my frame. And oftentimes I'm trying to check on my audience. Like my Wi-Fi was wonky, and so I couldn't see a lot of people. You notice how I kept checking in with you guys, because I just wasn't sure what I was really seeing and who was with me. And that's something we have to do as speakers as well. You got to check in with your audience. This was an hour and 50 minutes, 45 minutes. You got to check in with your audience. They're going to sleep. They're going to sleep.
Okay.
And so even in a 5 to 7 minute, you've got to check in with your audience, because that's what engages them. So in here, online, right there.
And later, very technology. I don't know how you did the PowerPoint just behind you. Like it's probably a software or an app or something.
It is. And it's on Zoom now. You may have to upgrade. It's Prezi PowerPoint. Excuse me, Prezi Video. Prezi Video.
Oh, Prezi Video.
Yeah, Prezi. Pankaj, question?
Yes, a question regarding you told us when you asked her to ask you this question and you said in 1 minute and half a minute. So is that a technique which we can practice to become more clear with our speech?
Oh yeah. You can practice that. Just, you get yourself a little timer and tell your story in 3 minutes, tell your story in 1 minute, tell your story in 30 seconds, tell your story in 15 seconds. You get to what's important, don't you? When you only have 15 seconds to tell the story and connect it, it's not a matter of speaking quickly. It's a matter of what do I really need to say? And that way, when you're on the elevator with your boss, you'll get to the point and still let the boss know you're the one he should or she should elevate to the next job. It's always got to connect. Thank you. Well, fellow Toastmasters, thank you so much for this opportunity to come in and holler at you on a Sunday morning. Some of you still kind of looking like you're on Saturday night. I won't say who, but some of you look like you were like partying all night long. I won't say who, Kim. I won't tell you what, I don't want to embarrass you, Kim. But I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Short questions. Today's topic is about evaluate to motivate, and you give a lot of example and technique. Can you give me 1 minute of your speech to say what is the summation of evaluate to motivate?
We should not be evaluators. We should be coaches. And as coaches, we should be able to identify every single aspect of a speech and take it to the next level and then apply it to where our speakers, our members, are in their lives. When we can make that connection between things that they're showing us to things that they want to achieve, then we have coached them, we have mentored them to growth. And that is the greatest gift we can give anyone. Was it a minute? Thanks for the question. Thanks for that opportunity. I appreciate that. That's a great question, man. Thank you. I like that shirt combination too. It's very nice. It's good. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I believe the cafeteria is open, so you can go on down and eat, and we'll come down here for the 1 o'clock class. Okay.
Oops. Well, thank you, Mr. Ferzi. I hope that you guys can find it very informative and inspiring to join the session today. And on behalf of the organizers, I would love to extend our special thanks to the trainer, to our guest speaker, Mr. Ferzi. And now I would love to invite you guys to stay for some more minutes to listen to the closing ceremony speech by our Division V director, and as well as our acknowledgement to the special one who have hosted this training for all of us. So I would like to invite to be on the stage our Division V director, Ms. Dung Le.
A really, really effective and tremendous meeting for this morning. On behalf of the organizing chair, I would love to send our great gratitude to our trainer for today, Toastmaster Ferzi. And Minky, Zoom Master, could you please? Yes. And I would love to send this certification of appreciation to Toastmaster Ferzi for sharing your valuable knowledge as a key trainer in Evaluate to Motivate virtual meeting for today. And this is signed by Toastmaster Dung Le, Division V Director. So please help me to spotlight Toastmaster Ferzi and take the picture as well. And please, everyone, give a big round of applause to say thank you to our trainer for today. Yeah. Thank you. And also, on behalf of the organizing chair, I would love to say thank you to our Toastmaster of the day, a very beautiful Toastmaster, Toastmaster Hui Ho. And help me to spotlight Toastmaster Hui Ho, Toastmaster Minh Hui. Yes. This certificate of appreciation presented to you for your participation as a Toastmaster of the day in Evaluate to Motivate virtual training of Division B Toastmaster. And thank you very much. And I would love all of you to give her a big round of applause. Thank you, Toastmaster Hui Ho. And also, I would love to send my appreciation to our Zoom master, Toastmaster Minky, for participation as a Zoom master in Evaluate to Motivate virtual training of Division B Toastmaster for today. Please help me to spotlight Toastmaster Minky. You can spotlight yourself, Minky. And somebody, please help me to take the photo for us. Yeah. And for the audience, please give him a big round of applause for all the things that you have been done so far for our event for today. Thank you, Minky. And also, for this event to be organized successfully, we have one person, and she's the one who create the banners, the program, the agenda, and help to promote the program to all the members of Division B. So I would love to give this certificate of appreciation to Toastmaster Thùy Linh. So Toastmaster Thùy Linh, please go on stage to Toastmaster Linh Trần. This certification of appreciation is presented to Toastmaster Linh Trần. Where are you, Toastmaster Linh Trần? For your participation as an organizing chair in Evaluate to Motivate virtual training of Division B Toastmasters. Oh, maybe she's not here at the moment. So I would love to give my gratitude to all the organizing chair members and also the trainer. And then to the meeting, the training cannot be successful as we have been doing right now without the participation of the own Toastmasters in Division B. Thank you very much for joining, and we are going to have the training every month. Hope to see all of you in our very valuable training. Have a good day ahead and see you in the next training. Goodbye for now.
Thank you, everyone. Great job, everyone. Everyone who organized. Thank you. Zoom master, timer. I know I gave you an extra job today. You did well.
And also, timer as well. Thank you, timer, for being so dedicated. Toastmaster Thùy.
He wasn't even expecting that. We put her to work. Hey, I put that QR code in the chat if anyone wants to join our online group. We just do speeches on there, and so if you want to get better, people give feedback, and it's a great opportunity. It's free, it's easy, So, if you're interested, just scan the
QR code so that I can send to the Toastmasters in Division B.
I will do that.
Yes.
Zoom? Do I have your contact information?
Yeah, we have here. And please send it again in our messenger. Oh, I have to leave now because today is the wedding of the two Toastmasters. The wedding of two Toastmasters. Toastmaster Giang Ri Tai, Toastmaster Phương Su Du. And now, I have to go now. Thank you very much and see you all. Goodbye.
Thank you, Percy. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. See you next time.